Yeah, thanks for having me, Sam. I'm Stanley. I'm the founder of Doordash, and it's really amazing to be here because it wasn't actually that long ago where I sat in your seats. I was class of 2014, graduated in CS, as well as my co-founder Andy. And for those of you who don't know what Doordash is, we're building an on-demand delivery network for local cities. And I want to start off with this photo that I took just a few months ago. And I think this was the night when we just raised our Series A. And I took this photo as I was walking back to where I lived. I actually lived in Robley at the time on campus. And I took this photo because I realized just how ridiculous the combinations of things I was holding in my hand at the time. You know, I was holding my CS 247 homework. And then I had my tax forms, since it was April and I had to fill out taxes. And then also that yellow speeding ticket. And then right below that was a $15 million piece of paper I just signed from Sequoia. And that kind of summarizes just how ridiculous our journey has been. You know, starting at Stanford, doing this while I was at Stanford, and then transitioning this into an actual startup. And I want to share that story with you today. It all began 2 years ago, actually, in a macaroon store. It was my junior year at Stanford. This was fall quarter. And at the time, I was really passionate about how do you build technology for small business owners. And I sat down with Chloe, the owner of Chantal Guyon, a macaroon store in Palo Alto at the time, just interviewing her, trying to get feedback on this prototype we've been working on, and also just learning about what her problems were in general. And it was during this meeting when Chloe first brought up this problem of delivery. I remember she took out this really, really thick booklet, and she showed me pages and pages of delivery orders. And a lot of these orders she had to turn down because there's no way she could have fulfilled them. She had no drivers, and she was the one who ended up having to personally deliver all these orders. And that was a very interesting moment for us. And then we, over the course of the next few weeks, we talked to around another 150, 200 small business owners. And when we brought up this idea of delivery, they kept agreeing with us, saying, yeah, this is a really big problem for us. We don't have delivery infrastructure. It's such a huge pain for us. There's not any good solutions out there. And which led us to wonder, delivery is such a common thing. It's such an obvious thing. Why hasn't anyone solved this before, right? Like we must be missing something here. So we thought maybe because people have tried this in the past, right? But they failed because there wasn't consumer demand for this. So we thought, okay, so how can we test this hypothesis? We were just a bunch of college kids at the time. We didn't own trucks or delivery infrastructures or anything like that, right? We can't just spin up a delivery company overnight. So how can we test this assumption we had? So we decided to create a simple experiment with restaurant delivery. We spent about an afternoon just putting together a really quick landing page. And I went on the internet. I found some PDF menus of restaurants in Palo Alto, stuck it up there, and then had a phone number at the bottom, which was our personal cell phone number, actually. And that was it. We put up the landing page. We called it paloaltodelivery.com. And this is actually what it looked like. Super, super, simple, ugly. Like, honestly, we weren't really expecting anything. We just launched it. And all we wanted to see was, would we get phone calls from this? And if we got enough phone calls, then maybe this delivery idea was something worth pursuing. So we put it up there. We weren't really expecting anything, and we were driving back home, and all of a sudden we got a phone call. Someone called. They wanted to order Thai food, and we're like, oh wow, like this is a real order. We have to do something about it, right? So, so we're in our cars, and we're like, okay, like we're not doing anything right now. Might as well let's just swing by, Siam Royale, pick up some pad thai, and let's deliver it to this person, and let's try to learn how this whole delivery thing works. And we did. We delivered to this guy up in Alpine Road, I remember. He told us I was asking him, oh, how did you hear about us? You know, what do you do? He told us he was a scholar. And then he handed me his business card, and it said he was the author of a book called Weed the People. And that was like our first ever delivery, right? It was like the best first delivery / worst delivery you could have asked for. We couldn't make this stuff up. And then the next day we got 2 more phone calls. The day after that we got 5, and then it became 7, and then it became 10. And then soon we started gaining traction on campus with PaloAltoDelivery.com, which was pretty crazy because think about it, right? This was a landing page. You had to look up PDF menus to place your order, and then you had to call in. This isn't exactly the most professional looking site, yet people were still, we kept getting phone calls, we kept getting orders. And that's kind of when we knew we were onto something. When people are willing, like we knew we found a need people wanted when people are willing to put up with all this. So I think another key point to remember is that we launched this in about an hour, right? Like we didn't spend, we didn't have any drivers, we didn't have any algorithms, we didn't spend, we didn't have a back end, we didn't spend 6 months building like a fancy dispatch system. And we didn't have any of that. We just launched. Because at the beginning, none of that is necessary, right? At the beginning, it's all about testing your idea, trying to get this thing off the ground, and figuring out whether this was something people even wanted. And it's okay to hack things together at the beginning. At YC, there's a mantra we like to talk about is doing things that don't scale. So at the beginning, we were the delivery drivers. We would go to class, and then after class, we would go deliver food. We were the customer support. Like I sometimes had to take phone calls during lecture. We spent afternoons just going down University Avenue, passing out flyers about trying to promote Doordash. We didn't have any dispatch system, so what we had to do was we used Square to charge all of our customers. We used Google Docs to keep track of our orders. We used Apple's Find My Friends to keep track of where all of our drivers were. Stuff like that. Just figuring out just hacking together solutions, just trying to get this thing off the ground. In fact, at one point we were growing so fast that Square actually shut our account down because we were under suspicion for money laundering. Think about it. We're getting small chunks of like $15, $20 orders coming in at a rapid pace. And luckily my co-founder Tony worked at Square, so he just emailed some buddies there, and everything was solved. And another thing about doing things that don't scale is that it also allows you to become an expert in your business, right? Like driving helped us understand how the whole delivery process worked. We used that as an opportunity to talk to our customers, talk to our restaurants. We did dispatching, which helped us figure out, how we manually dispatched every driver, and that helped us figure out, what our driver assignment algorithm should look like. We did customer support ourselves, getting real-time feedback from our customers. I remember, for the first few months when we got started, we would manually email every single one of our new customers, and at the end of every night, and just asking them, oh, how was your first delivery? How did you hear about us? And we would personalize all these emails, right? Like if I see someone order chicken skewers from Orange Hummus, I would say, oh, I love Orange Hummus. How were your chicken skewers? How did your first delivery went? Just feedback like that was really valuable, and our customers really, really appreciated that. And I remember one time, this was during YC, we just came out of a meeting with one of our restaurant partners, and we heard about this ice cream store that just opened up, on University Avenue called Cream, and we wanted to go try it out. And then all of a sudden, our co-founder back at our office/house texted us saying, oh, we need drivers on the road. We got a huge spike in demand. So we debated for maybe 10 seconds, like should we go get ice cream or should we go deliver? Obviously, we went and delivered, but that kind of became our motivation on scaling, right? Like if we can scale, then you could go get ice cream next time. So yeah, I think that kind of, and now of course we've scaled across different cities. Now you have to worry about building out automated solutions and dispatch systems and figuring out how do you match demand and supply and all that fancy technology stuff. But none of it matters at the beginning, because at the beginning it's all about getting this thing off the ground and trying to find product market fit. So just to summarize, so there's three things I would say that I learned from doing Doordash. First, test your hypothesis. You want to treat your startup ideas like experiments. The second thing is launch fast. We launched in less than an hour with a really simple landing page. And finally, it's okay to do things that don't scale. Doing things that don't scale is one of your biggest competitive advantages when you're starting out. And you can figure out how to scale once you have the demand. And maybe once you've scaled, then you could go get that ice cream. Thanks.